what you guys are seeing today, you're the elite people. Like, not very many people get to come in here. What you guys get to do, like there's, like, you probably maybe 1,000 or 2,000 person in Surrey that have ever got to come in here.
Speak of the devil.
Just saying hi. So he starts throwing a trick, or he starts walking away. I'll send him. Hang him up. Hang him up. Attaboy. Attaboy. So he's always in control. If you look at him, he seems pretty happy. His tail's wagging. He's not growling. He's not stressed out. Now he has to listen to me. So that guy has to listen to me too. We have being compliant. That guy, stop fighting my dog. Freezer! Out! Down! Down! That guy backed up. Where's the applause? He did what we wanted. So we're going to reward him one more time. Freezer, hey! Attaboy! Yeah! Good boy! What's Freezer wearing that the other dog's wearing? He's wearing a vest. It's actually not a vest, it's a harness. So somebody asked me for a dog to have bulletproof vest. And what we do is we do have vests for the dog. However, we try not to utilize it because it's very hard on the dog. A 5-pound vest on a dog. Think about this when you guys go home and feed your dogs tonight. 5 extra pounds on a dog is like 30 extra pounds on a person. This is what happens to the real world. They just talk while the bad guys sleep. Just kidding! Okay, Fraser! Out! Back! Back! Good boy!
We have to provide safety to our community. So welcome to the Surrey RCMP. I'm Constable Peters. This is Constable Boyer. We're both police officers in Surrey. We both work in a specialized unit called CREW, which is a community response unit. So right now, I belong to CREW, but I'm working for 6 months. I'm working at SOC, which is a Surrey outreach team. So I work in our tent city, which is the strip of Surrey that is where all the homeless people are. So we protect them too because, again, we provide safety and security to all the citizens in Surrey. So today I want to show you a little bit of what it's like to be a police officer and all the steps that are involved every day in becoming a police officer. So in Surrey we have 5 different district offices, 6 if you count the posts that we have right now on 135A for the outreach team. So we have one in Newton, one in Wally, we have a police station in Cloverdale, we have a police station in South Surrey and Guildford. And then of course we have this building here, and we're fortunate enough now that the city has grown, we've actually also taken over City Hall. And that's how big the Surrey RCMP is now. So this is called Main, and then we have Main West. So we have a lot of police stations and a lot of coverage. So as you can imagine with a police officer, we have to carry a lot of stuff with us. So in that stuff, it's things like, people have asked me on some of the stuff I'm carrying on me right now, but we have release documents, so sometimes we might arrest somebody and not have to take them to jail. We have to have the paperwork to release them with conditions. So we have notebooks, we have duty bags, and it carries extra handcuffs, zip ties. I've gone to mini riots where we've had to use our zip ties to handcuff people. So you have to have all the supplies. So that's just over there, and that's all of our bags every day that we carry around. So we have different workstations all over the city of Surrey. So we have covert buildings that you wouldn't even know are police stations. You might think they're regular offices. And then we have marked offices because obviously we want to be visible as well, but sometimes we don't. In our unit, we drive unmarked cars as well. So a lot of times you won't even see us. So a lot of times police are working, but they're not wearing the uniform. A lot of times, like I said, we wear the uniform just to provide that extra security to people. Yeah. Yeah, so what the question is having that visible presence, having a marked police car, being us in uniform. A good example would be maybe a school zone. Right? If I park a marked police car, even if I have to write a report at a school zone, a lot of cars will slow down because they'll see the police car. So it's not always about catching them, it's about changing the behavior. But sometimes you might have to do something a little bit quieter and you want to be in an unmarked police car, maybe not in a uniform, to be able to catch some people, right? So, but we have these workstations throughout the city, all of our district offices, the detachments, and we also have, when we scroll through, we'll see some other ones, but like I said, they're all over. One of the things that one of the slides there shows, we use a lot of crime analysis. So we'll find out, one thing I always push with people is, they said, oh, I didn't want to call 911, or I didn't want to call the non-emergency number, but it's all based on information. So like recently my truck got broken into at my house. I ended up leaving my truck, I live in Clayton, and I left my truck unlocked, so somebody broke in and just stole some small stuff. But I still reported it because it's still a stat on what's going on in that area, and so then it can put more police officers in that area. So we always urge people, make sure you're reporting everything, even though I didn't want anything done. I just wanted to make sure it was created, a file was created, and a record was kept. Like you guys have teachers, we have bosses as well, supervisors, and they were checking our work. They're making sure we're following through the right time frames, the right information. That's actually my boss right now. So he is the he was the corporal in charge of media, and now he's on the Surrey outreach team. So they just have the different rankings from a corporal to a sergeant to a staff sergeant. Go ahead. We're done, thank you. I'm just kidding, we'll fix all that. I don't know.
Windows.
We've got a mouse that looks is really sensitive, so we'll fix all that. But one of the other things, the next slide was showing our police car. And it shows all the, oh, sure, here we are. So this is our briefing. So it kind of shows a room like this, so, and it's all about communication. It's no different than your mom and dad having you guys check in if you're out or knowing where you're going. We do the same thing, right? We know what's going on, whether there's an arrest warrant or a most wanted or extra speeding that are happening in your school zone. We share it all as a group, and then we are assigned different tasks, and we go and we solve those issues. So that's just another picture of the large briefing room. We always have slides up, so we're always showing pictures. We're always going through things. Again, we have different, I'm trained on the carbine, the assault rifle as well, so we have all different tools. I carry a shotgun, assault rifle, a taser. I don't have my taser today. But we also work with partners too, right? So we work with, whether it's BC Ambulance Services, we work with Surrey Fire. I think the next one shows a better shot of the fire trucks. That I don't know if they're not here today. But we're always working with them. Sometimes it's getting into a building. Sometimes, there's times where we typically will beat the firemen to the scene. And it's just because, if you can imagine, a fire truck's big to move throughout the city, and our cars aren't. We can get in and out. So a lot of times we're going into that fire before the firemen. So we got to make sure everybody's clear, that it's not in danger. So we're kind of the real heroes, not the firemen. Just kidding. Okay, the next one. So these are all the police cars. There's even more now. That's just one corner. There's 1,000 police officers in Surrey. So you can imagine our cars, a lot of times, actually we just, that car just got written off. We just smashed that car up, and my partner drove it into a building. His foot slipped, and so it's crashed now. But a lot of times our cars, people will say, oh, I bought a car, but it only had 100,000 kilometers. In our cars, it's not about the kilometers, because a lot of cars, I've had cars that I've never turned off in a shift. because we go nonstop. And I've had to wait for a police officer to bring another car to me, and then we switch again. So there's days where cars will go 24, 48 hours straight of never being turned off. So always wonder why people buy old police cars. So I talked about some of the tools. There's the taser, a shotgun. We have an ASD there, and an ASD is like a mobile, portable breathalyzer, right? So for people that are drinking and driving. Yeah, no. So, what's that? So yeah, that one kind of shows a police car. It's pretty cramped, all the stuff we have to carry. I told you about the duty bag that we carry, but you can only imagine all the stuff we carry in the trunk. We carry 2 fire extinguishers because of the reason I told you. A lot of times, whether it's a car accident on fire or a house or a building, we carry flares, extra spare tires. We carry hard body armor. Today you're seeing us all wearing soft body armor, but if we're going into a critical incident, we're going to put on another level that'll protect bullets. It's a higher security level for us. Our workstations, so a lot of us will work straight out of that car all day. So even though we have the terminals throughout the city, we also want to be in the community. So if we hear from people that are saying, we're getting cars that are being broken into in this area, and we'll do our reports there. So we have all the technology to be able to work in there, and then the camera that it will show if we have a missing child, the picture will come up there. So we share all that information. We're missing adult even at times, right? So it's really important to have all the tools here. So here's just an example of some of the partnerships that we have within the RCMP. It also shows some of the areas that you can move. One of the things that I love about being a police officer is I always get bored whenever I do a job, and so I do it for a year or two, and I'm thinking, what's next? Well, if you have a job as a police officer, you can change so much. So whether you want to be, this is what we do. We're bad guys that we're arresting bad guys on the street all day long, or if I want to go work with the police dogs, or if I wanted to be a traffic policeman and have a ride on a motorbike. The helicopter's coming in about 30 minutes, and you can go on to Air 1. Now, I could never go in there because most of the helicopters are really small. I think they have to be under 5'10" to be in there, so I'm 6'5", so I'll never make that one. So, but it just shows you different avenues and different opportunities that you can have as a policeman or policewoman. So we have all different sections, so whether if you have an interest in auto crime or property crime, whatever it is, you can go. Here's our gang task force. So if you like to go after that, it kind of shows you different avenues you can go. And remember I told you downstairs we have a jail right below us? So that's actually what's down right below us here. So we bring in the prisoners here. We drive in, there's a loading bay. We drive in there, it gets all gated off, and then we check them all in, we photograph them, fingerprint them. We show the next screen. We have 14 different monitors that monitor them all the time. So there's no privacy. If you go to jail, there's a toilet right in the middle of the cell, and there's a camera on you 24 hours a day. So there's no privacy. That's what a cell looks like. It's not pretty. I don't know how they do it. I could never do it. I could never wear handcuffs, and I could never be in jail. Most of you guys, I did put your stamp on already. So if you haven't got one, come up and see us. But do we have any questions at all? You had a question.
Yeah. If there's like a fire and the fire goes in the building, you gotta keep everyone away from it, right?
Yeah, or get them out too, right? So I had a fire, I went into a fire a little while ago, and rags had caught on fire, and it was above a hotel. So we had to get everybody out of the ground, but then I had to run upstairs. But I couldn't see anyone. I just had to make sure I felt my way through, and I had to clear it. Nobody was up there, thankfully, but I couldn't just assume or guess. I had to make sure I cleared it. Yeah, you have a question?
Were there any robbers that escaped jail?
No, nobody's ever escaped. Yeah, there's so many different security. Even today, what you guys are seeing today, you're the elite people. Like not very many people get to come in here. What you guys get to do, there's you probably maybe 1,000 or 2,000 person in Surrey that have ever got to come in here. The stuff you'll see in here, because there's a lot of secure and private areas, right? So you're pretty lucky. That's how much security. Yeah, guys, go ahead. How many police cars? There's 647. Yeah.
And the bag I run away and the bag I just run away and
Well, last night I was working and I had a bad guy steal a car, and so the bad guy ran away and I ran after and I got him. Right. So now it sounds really good, but it was a lady and in heels. But no, she wasn't in heels. But we caught her, right? And like anything else, we still treat them with dignity and respect. And at the end, they ended up admitting they did it, and they apologized for lying. They still have to go through all of the steps, and they still get charged. But at least they were honest about it, right? And that's appreciative, right? So, yes.
How many cells are there?
Sorry?
How many cells are there?
There is 20, 40, 80. 80 cells, and then in that 80 cells, we also have designated areas that are designed by gender as well. So we can have female and male cells, and then there's also cells for other vulnerable people. Yes? No, no. So I mean, the whole idea is that sometimes people might give a false name, and we might not get them right away, right? But we never had anyone escape. Obviously, our key to the country, and then for us, for the city of Surrey, is always providing the best security and protection for everybody. So that's a big thing. I think we take big responsibility. We take seriously.
first bulb on May 23rd, he was a service dog. So he did catch bad people. He's tasting you for later because he's your bad guy.